فرجهم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. Mu'mineen and mu'minat, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Continuing on reflections on the dua, supplication of makarimul akhlaq, the honorable levels of ethics and morality from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, in an effort to inshallah purify ourselves, purify our nafs, elevate to the higher levels of our journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, understanding of that, and therefore purify our nafs to get to the higher grades, higher levels. We have the nafsul ammara, the lowest is a nafs that is constantly seeking and ordering us and leading us towards our desires, towards fulfillment of pleasures and towards desires without any limitations. And that's referred to as an-nafsul ammara. This is based on, or this term is derived from the Holy Quran in Surah Yusuf, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the words of the wife of the king, or the wife of Aziz of Egypt, in her words Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared that nafs could be one who leads to evil. Inna nafsa la'ammaratun bis-su' illa ma rahima rabbi. And therefore that is a nafs which has not been tamed. That is a nafs that has not been controlled at all. That is like a wild beast. And insan, if left without any discipline and without any improvement in the levels of the nafs and purification of the self, insan would be worse than animals, because insan on the one hand has the potential to reach to the highest levels, and on the other hand insan also with that same potential could bring himself down to the lowest. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says worse than animals, in hum kal an'am bal hum adal. Therefore it's very important to elevate with our nafs, go from there to what our ulama, our teachers of akhlaq, they often refer to the nafs, which is the an-nafsul lawwama. An-nafsul lawwama gets to a point where it's not pushing and it's not driving one towards evil and towards sinfulness, does not simply follow desires. Rather, when it fails, it actually feels bad. When it commits, when it basically fails us and allows one to commit the sin, then that nafs is in a state of regret and has what we call in Arabic lawm, in Farsi they call it malamat, where it is basically feeling bad and questioning. You know, there's a debate. Our teachers of akhlaq, they often say, talk to yourself, talk to your nafs. You know, have that debate between you and yourself. And that nafsul lawwama has reached that level. And obviously one could go from there to the higher levels to eventually get to what is referred to by an-nafsul mutma'inna, nafs that has reached the most peaceful state, a nafs that is in peace with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, whatever He's provided. It is in peace with and in basically pleased with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ruled and decreed. So if He has laws, that nafs is pleased with it. An example of that is we have the hadith from Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha, that one day the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told her and her husband Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam about what each has as a role, as their tasks. So he says to her, your tasks are from the doorstep inside. You need to take care of that part. And Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Prophet says to him, Ya Ali, your responsibility is from the doorstep outside. Everything outside. So she thanks God and thanks His Messenger, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and says, I am so grateful that I don't have to be dealing with people out there, especially men out there, who some use and some abuse women, and in the name of women liberation, they in fact enslave women in different ways. So she was pleased that the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the law, was that, and set by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nafs might say, no, you go out, be seen, for a female especially, go out, be seen, be appreciated. I've heard terms of such terms from people, especially nowadays. I remember in one discussion, somebody brought it up, said, God created beautiful flowers to be seen and appreciated, and women are created beautiful, they should be seen and appreciated. By who? By abusers? By causing corruption to the society? Everything has to be in context. So very important that we reach with our nafs to a point where we're pleased with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed, whatever He has ruled, whatever law He has set for us, we are pleased with. This is in fact the journey of purification, going from one level to the other, to the higher and inshallah to the highest level of our nafs. One of the means is to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the beauty of dua is to recognize the need, that we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't do it ourselves. If anybody thinks that they can do it themselves, they have a disease, and we inshallah we don't have it, the disease of arrogance, thinking that I can do it, the ego, the nafs. That itself is another disease. That even in purification, another disease is to feel like I have achieved what I've achieved myself. That is also referred to as ujb. To be so self-satisfied and so pleased with oneself in a way that I did it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the wisdom, gave you the intellect, gave you the guidance, gave you the means, the platform. Everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything that you see good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we see none, the opposite, we can attribute it to ourselves, so we can purify. Ma asabaka min hasanatin famin Allah. Everything good that comes to us is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Few lines from the dua inshallah, and I'll finish for tonight. So in one of the most beautiful parts of the dua, the Imam says, after he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, اللهم اجعل ما يلقي الشيطان في روعي من التمني والتظني والحسد ذكرا لعظمتك. Whatever shaitan puts within me, in my heart, deep inside me. So we have two enemies, nafs and shaitan. The shaitan uses nafs in order to fight us, uses our own whims and desires to fight us. So when he comes and he starts attacking us, in the sense that he tries to put certain feelings in our hearts. So the Imam describes what are these things that come from shaitan. He says tamanni, tawanni, al-hasad, these three things. One, tamanni. Tamanni is, long wishes. One day I want to do this, I want to, those worldly wishes, obviously. Constantly dreaming and wishing for worldly things. That is from shaitan. Shaitan makes us focus on this dunya, this world, long wishes and long list of wishes that are to be achieved at, people planning for when they're 150 years old. Sometimes it's like, you're not going to live until, but that's, you're going to live, 80, 90, 100? Yet our planning is, sometimes you see somebody and perhaps for them they're still, they feel young, so they want to do it all, and they're planning for things that could take 20, 30 years, and who knows if the next second we're going to be there. So very important to keep our even like wishful thinking in control. Wish for things for akhirah. Hope and pray and try and make efforts for akhirah. For this dunya, control it. Tamanni. The next one is tawanni. Dhann, having doubts about people and always thinking ill of people. He said this, he meant this. He looked or she looked at me, I know that has a meaning. And all that kind of things. Tadanni, that's also from shaitan. Wal hasad. Hasad is jealousy, to have, to look at others and wish that it was yours, not theirs, whatever they have, whatever God has given them. Instead of that, he says, replace all of that for me with remembering your greatness. ذكرا لعظمتك وتفكرا في قدرتك وتدبيرا على عدوك. So I think of your greatness, I reflect on your omnipotence, therefore I plot and plan against your enemy or my enemy, who is shaitan. So I don't become a victim of shaitan, I don't become the target of shaitan, rather I'm planning to fight him. I am preparing myself, taking my nafs to the higher levels, therefore I don't become a target of shaitan, or I become prepared against my enemy, who God told us that inna shaytana lakum adu fattakhidhuhu aduwan. Shaitan is your enemy, therefore treat him as your enemy. And then inshallah the next line, وَمَا أَجْرَى عَلَى لِسَانِي مِنْ لَفْظَةِ فُحْشٍ. Inshallah the next part will continue in the coming weeks. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.